What's up?
Hi, guys. Welcome to another segment of Straight No Chaser Talk. And today I'm really excited because I've got some really special people joining me, some people that I've known for years, some people that I've come to know on social media because they are really passionate about sports. They're very knowledgeable about sports. And we're going to dive right into it. You know, this show is for fans, for fans. We're jumping right into it, and we're going to give it to you straight no chaser. So, guys, you know how we do. If you got your favorite libation, make sure you put them up, raise them. We're toasting. We're giving it to you straight no chaser.
Water.
Water. Mr. Healthy over there. Okay.
So, having said that, Paul, I got to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I've been kind of waiting for this conversation. So, now we talk about rings and we talk about the load, and I'm so glad that you gave that man his props for this, because that's why these conversations are a lot better than being on the locker room, because you can't like
I agree.
Being on social media.
What you want to say. So much respect to you. So the other thing is this. Having looked at LeBron's career and the championship series that he was in, which one do you think that he was the favorite in? And which one do you think Jordan wasn't the favorite in? His team.
Good question. Good question.
Great question.
Jordan was the only time Jordan was not the favorite was the first one. Because the first one when he went up against the Los Angeles Lakers, because you were going up against Magic Johnson and James Worthy and all of these guys. And the fact is that Jordan, up until that moment, he had just gotten past Detroit, but his reputation as a ball player was somebody who could score a bazillion points but never win. In other words, I think there were just as many people who thought he was going to lose in that finals as there were people who thought he was going to win. But and it didn't help them. It didn't help them the first, because they lost the first game. When they lost the first game, that was all everybody needed. See, we told you.
Hey, Paul, that Laker team was old and broken by then, man. So
I will say this.
They were older than us.
Well, look, speak for yourself. But anyway,
I think the place is about to go tits up. Hold on. As they say in London, England, the place is about to go tits up. Hold on.
I mean, but you know what? That narrative is kind of interesting because people like to say that a lot of times about, when Michael Jordan actually got to the point where he was talking championships, that his competition had gotten old. But, Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and those guys were like 30 and 31. They were not old. They just got their ass whipped. And then you can look it up.
All right, hold on. Let me hear from Derek. Go ahead and jump in.
The reason I don't agree is because, okay, you got to remember, Isaiah had started breaking down. Isaiah retired at 32 years old. 32. You see what I'm saying? So he had already started breaking down because of all the wars that he had against Boston and LA and against the Bulls. So the Pistons had gotten old. Even though their age wasn't old, they had gotten old because in basketball years, they were much older than what they were. So
that's a good point.
They had no way, after the Bulls made it up that hill, Isaiah them was gone. You ask any of the teammates, the youngest person mentally and physically on that team was Dennis Rodman, and he had started losing it because Chuck Daly had, went away. So they really didn't have no comeback for the Bulls after that. You know what I'm saying? Joe Dumars played a few more years, and I'm a Pistons fan, so I know this, but Joe played a few more years, and then basically the Pistons was shot until Grant Hill got there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they never could climb the hill. The Pistons was over with when Mike started, because he had his wars against, how many wars the Pistons went through?
Eastern Conference, dude. Eastern Conference.
Was tough.
Yeah.
And it was and when they were done, they were done. It was Bulls from that point on. So,
But yeah, that's the thing about Mike. Mike didn't just win the championship, he destroyed franchises.
Well,
that's a good point. But then my whole thing with that is that, so getting back to the whole thing, I think when we talk about favorites, the only team I didn't see LA beating them because they didn't have something that, if they would have had Kareem, different story. Different story. Because they would have had an answer for Kareem. But I think that when the Bulls were the underdog, to me, I think Phoenix.
That's a good one.
And I
That's
think
a good one.
what happened in that series was, and me and Stan and Derek talk about this all the time. Richard Dumas comes out in the first 20 minutes and kills Scottie Pippen. Let's just be real.
Right.
He was breaking Scottie Pippen off,
No
and
one
then
will admit that. No one will admit it.
no one will admit it. He was only getting like 19 minutes a game, averaging 17 or something like that on 57% shooting.
It was 21 minutes a game.
Put him out the game, and I don't know what that was about. Paul Westphal got badly outcoached, and Mike had to go on a tirade, and that's when you see Mike really being Mike, because I think he averaged 40 for that series, and he had got 40 for the series, and then Kevin Johnson, he didn't play good at all.
Yeah, it was a tough series for him.
Yeah, that was a tough series for them. And so when I look at the Bulls, I look at teams like the Sonics, they didn't have a chance. I look at the Blazers. Your second score, like for the Blazers, they second lead score 15 points a game. You ain't beating the Bulls unless you got three dudes that can get out there and get you 20. And you know they can go get you 20. Even if they didn't necessarily average 20, you know they're going to up in the playoffs 20. Ron has had he has played some of the greatest all-time teams in these finals. You got the Spurs, known winners, 4 Hall of Famers, dudes like Patty Mills coming off the bench that was killing, that could have been the MVP when Kawhi won it. Then you got a team like the Warriors, who were already legit. Then they bring Kevin Durant in, and now you got 3 of the 5 best shooters ever to play. And then let me just say this, and I'm not going to try to – I'm just excited because this is the first time I'm on here, and I got a lot to say, but let's real quick because I'm all over the place. But Miami, I'm going to say this. This whole thing about 3 superstars, they had 2 superstars. 2. I'm saying Chris Bosh is not that dude. I'm not going to ever say he that dude. And it's not about it was about his toughness and his lack of rebounding. If my starting center and my power forward are averaging 8 rebounds between them, we ain't winning.
Right.
It's a shock to me that they even won. So I think he had more of a load to carry with the teammates, because when you don't build a team organically, like if the team ain't built to whereas the Bulls were built organically, LeBron put that team together himself, for lack of a better term, but you don't get the supporting cast you need. So they were underdogs. So for me to get even 3, I'm like, damn, that was an accomplishment. Because personally, I think the only one that he should have won was the Oklahoma one. I can even say Dallas, because Dallas swept the champion Lakers to get there.
Right.
So
Yeah, that wasn't luck. I agree with you on that one. That one was not luck.
Yeah. Dallas was a better team than what people gave him credit for. Now LeBron did not have a good series, and I'm not gonna say he did. That was the worst series he ever played. But I still think that Dallas was not no pushover. And everybody else that they won against, I think they surprised people by winning. And he had to play exceptional for them to win.
Agreed.
So
he's only been the favorite in 3 finals, period. And he lost one of them that he was a favorite in, which was Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's only been the favorite in 3 finals, period, man. I mean, when you really think about it, like, he was not supposed to beat Golden State at all, but he wound up winning that one. He wasn't supposed to beat the Spurs one year. Even though he was with Miami, they still wasn't the favorite in that series against the Spurs. And then the series against Dallas, he was favored.
Oklahoma. Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma. He was favored against those. And that was it. He haven't been favored in no other series.
That's true.
So he was not supposed to win those championships. And Mike was supposed to win those championships.
Right.
So,
well, whoever was going to come out the East back in that day with Jordan was going to be the favorite.
Like to go. Exactly.
Yeah. The East was a beast back in those days. But you know, with LeBron is a victim of his own greatness in a way. You know, he is. Because like when he was at Cleveland, the thing is that people don't think about the fact that when you're like the number 1 team in the East and you go to the finals, what's the one thing, if you don't win it, what's the one thing you're not going to get, you know, basically at the end of the year? A draft pick. You know, look how many years he's been in the finals. Now ask yourself, where's the damn draft picks? He has never had the benefit of getting a top-level player out of college of that type of situation. He's never been in it. It was the same thing pretty much for the Bulls, but that's what winning does.
Paul,
You know?
to that
Yeah.
point, that's why he had to leave Cleveland. Because look, when your best player sitting next to you is Mo Williams, and you still winning 60 games,
well, look,
you're not gonna get that draft pick, and you're not gonna get better.
well, let's
And
be
you
clear.
can't get no free agents
even if it's
to come
not
in.
basketball, right? Even if it's not basketball, how do you fault a 20-something-year-old multimillionaire kid for leaving Cleveland to go to Miami?
Well, you can't fault.
Exactly. That's all I've been saying all along. That's what I've been saying all along.
He didn't even have to play basketball.
Now we cooking with gas right now. That's what I've been saying.
Let me segue real quick. Before we get into that, because I want to come back to that. Frank, I know you're over there rocking the number 31 Granville Waiters jersey. What you got for me?
Oh, hell no.
That's number 23.
Okay.
I thought it was Granville Waiters. I thought it was number 31.
Oh.
I'm sorry.